1340 WJOL, Will County's News Talk Sports. I'm Steve Brandy. This is Brando's Garage, brought to you by Turk Furniture. Turk Furniture celebrating 128 years in business this year. They've been furnishing homes around this area since 1885. All right, we're going to talk baseball. It's been a quick 10 days since these three young men helped win a state championship for Joliet Catholic Academy. In the studio with me, Alex Voitik, Ryan Peter, and Chris Tschida from the Joliet Catholic Academy Hillman, and Coach Voss is here as well. And, of course, last week we had a certain guy in the studio. I always bring him and his son in for Father's Day. Of course, his son was a little busy last week and skipped out on me, but I did have Joe Rodriguero in the studio last week, and Zach was busy out at some prep baseball report thing, but I want to introduce the young men we've got here. Now, guys, bring those mics a little closer to you. They, I don't know, they keep moving those things on me every single time I come in here. But we've got Alex Voitik here. He was the catcher for the Joliet Catholic team. Ryan Peter, the first baseman. Chris Tschida, the shortstop. And, yes, these guys were the senior captains that led the team all year. And, Alex, let's start with you. The catcher is seen as the leader of the team. You were the senior. And what did you think at the start of the year? Did you see yourself playing at Silver Cross Field before the season was over?
Yeah, at the start of the year, it was kind of rough starting out. Losing a good pitcher like Matt Tschida at the beginning. Dealing with a bunch of dealing with everything we dealt with. It was interesting coming back and seeing what we're going to do with it. And we all had faith together, and all the pitchers just did their jobs. So we made a run after the Stevie Brandy tournament, and we did our jobs, got it done. And
your pitcher's name that went down, give me his name again.
Matt Tschida.
Yeah, Matt. I was there when it happened. That was during the WJOL baseball tournament, and we knew it wasn't going to be good. You're a catcher. You've got to keep the pitching staff together. What were you thinking as soon as that happened?
I was more worried about him than I was of the game at that point. It was a decent game, but, me and Matt have been playing catch together for years now, so it was really hard to watch him go off the field like that. And whoever came in for him after that, don't even remember. It was just, I was watching him in the dugout. I was hoping to make sure he was okay, and it was kind of weird.
And, of course, the WJOL tournament, kind of a downer for you this year with that happening as well. But how's he doing, by the way? What's going on?
He's doing a lot better. I don't know his actual state right now, but I know he's starting to throw again, and I think he's playing summer baseball. So
yeah, he's going to be a senior next year, right?
No, Matt Tschida just graduated.
Oh, okay, he graduated then. Okay, well, what's his plan? He going to try to keep playing next year?
Yeah, he's going to a community college down in Arizona. Play baseball,
good.
Hopefully.
That's good to hear. You hate to see a senior year wiped out by that. I mean, that is just not good. And but as things improved, and you guys, now tell me about it, because I tell you, it's the same thing during baseball season. I'm so busy covering news, and then it's time for the state tournament, and I've got to do some homework. Let's bring in Ryan Peter. You guys won a tournament over there in Crestwood. Now, what was the name of that tournament? What was that you played in?
It was the Stevie Brandy tournament.
Yeah, get a little closer to that thing. Stevie Brandy, who is that, by the way?
He was a kid. He went to Mount Carmel, actually, and he had some sickness, and he actually ended up dying. And so then his dad and the family and the organization started a tournament for his name, and it was just like basically the best teams in the state all together, and then they play, and then the tournament championship and semifinals are at Crestwood.
Yeah, and of course that's where you won your super sectional game over Harlan, so you guys had been there already winning that tournament, and that's kind of a neat thing when you have a special tournament in the middle of the season, not a preseason tournament like what we do, not the state tournament at the end, but a special tournament in the middle of the season, the finals over there at Crestwood. You guys won it, and you beat some very good teams. Now, who all was in that tournament? All the big guys, right?
Yeah, in the Brandy tournament, it was like Providence, Oak Park River Forest, New Trier, Mount Carmel, St. Rita, us, Lamont, Marion Catholic, and then a few other teams.
Well, amazing that you guys are a 3A team and you're competing with all those 4A teams like Providence, like Mount Carmel, who won the state championship in 4A, of course, and like St. Rita. That had to make you guys feel pretty good when you won that one.
Definitely, yeah, it was unbelievable competition from start to finish. We played our our pool games actually earlier in the year against Lamont and Providence, and we got 2-0. After we beat both of them, we actually made it to the semis, and then when we beat St. Rita and Mount Carmel, which is unbelievable, knocking off two of the best teams in the state, 4A schools, and then it was a great lead right into the playoffs for us.
That Brandy tournament, is that round robin or brackets? How do they do that?
It's 4 pools, and then the winner of each pool, they go into like the winner's bracket, and then the teams that go 1-1 go into a bracket, and the teams that go 0-2 go into another bracket.
Well, that's more complicated than the College World Series, but somehow you guys ended up winning. Let's go to Chris Tschida, the shortstop, and tell you what, I've been calling your name for a long time. What was your view as the season went along? The injury early on we were talking about, but the big win there at Crestwood in the Bajeski tournament, and then onto the state tournament. When did things finally, in your eyes, come together for you?
There's a point in the season where Coach Voss told us that the first half of the season's over. You just got to worry about the next half. And the first half of our season was obviously a struggle because everyone was saying things about us like, oh, they're overrated. They're not going to do what they were supposed to do. But we just didn't look at that, and then just kept working hard every day. We'd have practices after our games, and those weren't fun, obviously, but you had to do what you had to do. So, I believed in us the whole way, and it's just a matter of time until, our bats struggled, obviously, at the beginning of the year, but hitting's contagious. Once someone starts hitting, another guy, and that's when we carried in all of our runs. And thank God our pitching staff was unbelievable this year because we wouldn't have made it anywhere without the Couch, Plaker, D'Alessandro.
We'll talk about those guys in just a bit. Let's talk about the coach that came on board toward the end because he was in the studio last week, Joe Rodiguero. Now, you guys, like most Joliet Catholic athletes, you know the history of your program. You knew very well Joe Rodiguero had coached Joliet Catholic to a state championship 19 years ago, and you'd gone against him when he used to coach for Lamont. Here he was back helping you guys in the dugout. So, Chris, your first reaction to Coach Rodiguero, I'm sure you knew him, and you probably thought, hey, great having him in here.
Yeah, he's a very prestigious coach and very well known around the state of Illinois. So it was awesome having him because he, taught us a lot of new philosophies with hitting. So it was just awesome. And it seems like when he was around, we would hit a lot more too, or we would, the bats would start going.
And, of course, Alex Voitik, Joe Rodiguero, known for knowing a lot about catching. And if Dewey Dwyer's listening, I better mention it, including his cameo as a catcher in the Babe Ruth movie. Okay, I always got to mention that Joe Rodiguero did do that right in my hometown of Danville Stadium where that part of it was filmed. But from your point of view as a catcher, when Coach Rodiguero walked in, what changed for you?
I love Coach Rodiguero. I've known him for years since, like you said, him coaching Lamont and him coaching the old Joliet Catholic teams, and he's always been just a legend around here. And I've known his name forever, and it's awesome feeling he just has a presence about him. When he walks in the dugout and starts telling you what to do, you listen. And no offense to Coach Voss, but Coach Rodiguero really got down to the dirty parts of my personal swing. He personalized my hitting approaches, and he helped me out with catching stuff. And it was awesome having him in here.
Ryan, what about you, Coach Rodiguero? The first time you talked to him when he became part of the staff, what'd you say?
Yeah, I played for his son a little bit in the summer with some of the travel stuff, so I kind of got to know his son a little more. And then when he came around, it was awesome. And just like in the winter and then early in the year, just like the little drills and stuff he taught, it was awesome. And actually, the first couple of times he started coming to games, once his season finished up, I was joking around with a couple of guys. I was saying, man, this guy needs to stop showing up, because I think the first two games he came to the Manuka and one other game. And the Manuka game we got no hit, and another game we got like 4 hits. I'm like, geez, this guy's a hitting coach. When he's around, he's a little bad luck. But then later in the year he started showing up, and our bats really got hot. So I think he knows what he's doing.
Well, you took him from me, because if he wouldn't have been coaching with you, he would have been in the broadcast booth calling the game with me, because he did help me call that state title game for you guys 4 years ago. So, in fact, I looked at him after the semifinal when I said, gee, I was going to ask you to do the game, and he said, no, I'll be busy, and he certainly was. Hey, when you played for his son Zach last year, did Zach always pull out his phone and check the weather? Does he always do that?
He was always on his phone. He's a character for sure.
Oh, he has meteorology degree from Valpo and knows when the weather's coming. And, of course, I've known both of those guys for a long time. Fantastic family. And Joe Rodiguero, not only a legendary coach, but a legendary part of our broadcast team and all that stuff, going to be helping out on Pigskin Preview, I think, again this year. And, of course, with Dewey and Bart. Well, what about the other coaches, Bart Kemp and everybody else? You guys have a great group of people there. I mean, you've probably, Alex, from your point of view, you've known all the coaches for such a long time.
Oh, yeah. Me, Chris, and Petey have all been up on the varsity for 3 years, so we all got a couple years of exposure down in the sophomore freshman league, so we all know those guys. We all got really close with those guys for a year. Then we came up to varsity and got to know all the varsity coaches that came in and out, and sometimes we have coaches that come up and down, and you see them at practice, see them around the halls. It's really nice to know all the coaches that are around here.
Well, what about the guy behind you who looks like he's going to fall asleep? Coach, you okay? I mean, you're just going to let the guys handle the show here. We're going to get Jared Voss on here in just a minute. But Ryan, playing for him for 3 years, and you've helped him to another state championship. What did it all mean to you to close out your career with a state title?
It's awesome. You know, there's no other way I'd like to end my baseball career than win a state championship in Joy Catholic. It was everyone's dream. You know, that's why you go to JCA, play in those big games, play in those big spots, and, you know, win a state championship, and that's what we did, so it's awesome.
Yeah, Chris, what about you? I remember I bumped into athletic director Dan Sharp after the game. He had a big smile on his face, and he might be the football coach, but he's also the AD, and it was another state title for Joliet Catholic and for Coach Voss, and what did it all mean to you wrapping up your career like that?
Oh, it was awesome. You know, when we were in 8th grade, we saw, the 09 team dogpile on that mound, and I remember talking to Ryan, like, hey, because we were both in the stands, I'm like, hey, we got to do this when we become seniors, juniors, or whatever. We need to do this at some point in our high school career, and it was just awesome, because I've been playing with Ryan since I've been 10 years old for 8-year-old All-Stars at St. Joe's, so it was awesome to finish our last game together, state champions.
Alex, what about you? Were you in the crowd that game 4 years ago as well?
Yes, sir, I was. It was unbelievable seeing that. I wasn't with them, but yeah, I was there.
So you felt, hey, I'd like to do that someday as well, and you did. And we're going to take a break. When we come back here, we're going to get into some of the basics. There were so many incredible moments that last week. The game against Harlan, then the semifinal win, and then the championship game against Wheaton St. Francis. We had it all here on 1340 WJOL. We are reviewing the Joliet Catholic Academy State Baseball Championship here on Brando's Garage. Brought to you by Turk Furniture. They have 6 locations in Illinois, including the new location out there in Naperville, kitty corner from the Fox Valley Mall, and, of course, the location by the Louis Joliet Mall off Route 30 and I-55. Steve Brandy with you at 9:22. More JCA baseball talk right after this. 26. I'm Steve Brandy, and we are talking with 3 senior players that helped lead Joliet Catholic to a baseball state championship. Alex Voitik, Ryan Peter, and Chris Tschida. First, before I forget, let's talk about what you guys are doing next year. Alex, you're on your way to College of Holy Cross out there in Worcester, Massachusetts to play baseball. How did they find you? How did you find them? That's an interesting story.
It was fun. They found me. I went to that Stevenson showcase last year. And we all 3 of us were there. And right after that, I got a bunch of emails from a bunch of different colleges, and they caught my eye. I think they were my first email, so it kind of meant a lot to me. And because it was the first time any college ever contacted me about baseball. And I just kind of got in contact with the coach. They came down and saw me at a few tournaments down in Georgia, and they ended up taking me as a player, so couldn't be happier.
Right, that was at Stevenson High School last year. Huh? That's a huge place, but they did have a big baseball showcase up there. So they actually came down to Georgia to watch you to play some summer ball, huh?
Yeah, they came down. Them and a few other schools came down to watch me. It was a big scouted tournament down there, and they talked to me down there, and I actually committed down there too. So it was fun.
Now, Ryan Peter, you're going the basketball route at North Central. Try to knock Scott Slocum's legend off the podium, because that's what he did, of course. But how'd that choice come to you, North Central, and choosing basketball?
Yeah, the whole basketball thing was a really hard decision for me. Starting off freshman year, if you would have asked me baseball or basketball wouldn't even been a question. Just a few things down the road just kind of changed my mind. This and that, little things. But I ended up going with basketball. And then the North Central, we actually had an assistant coach on the basketball team whose brother played at North Central. Knapchek is the last name. And he told me about North Central, and the coach was talking to him back and forth, and they came out to a few games. I went to a few games, and the atmosphere of those games are unbelievable. For a small school, they're a great program and a great team, and they had a great run this year. And just the atmosphere of those games and the campus, I just really liked it and kind of clicked.
Hey, best of luck on that. Now, I know you get this question all the time, but back in the late 90s, I had a football announcing partner named Joe Gura back when he was coaching at Lockport. He was coaching at Lockport, and he was helping me announce Lockport football. Now, you guys, Joliet Catholic basketball, there are some good young players on that team. I noticed them last year during the WJOL tournament, and everybody says, look at all these young players getting varsity experience. Joliet Catholic basketball is going to start moving. Do you agree? How's it going to go over the next couple of years?
I really do think so. Obviously last year it was still kind of a struggle because sometimes, we would start one senior, and I'd be the only senior starting, and we'd start a sophomore and 3 freshmen. So, you can't really expect that much out of freshman and sophomore. But I mean, down the road, things are really changing over there. I mean, Gura brought in 2 really good coaches for the younger levels and then assistant for the varsity. And I think this week they had their camp, and he told me about 130, 140 kids at that camp compared to last year and 2 years ago when there was maybe 50 or 60 kids. So, I mean, things are really turning around, and the young players in that program with the experience now and with Gura controlling them all, they're headed in the right direction.
Yeah, a lot of times, Joliet Catholic basketball players, yes, they also played football and baseball, but to get some guys that are first and foremost basketball players, the first talk I had with Joe Gura after he took that job was, I have to get a hold of these kids when they're freshmen and tell them, play basketball, try it, give it a shot. That seems to be working.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, and he's awesome. I mean, he's a good coach, but he's even a better guy. So I mean, he becomes friends with all these kids, as freshmen, just as being in classes and students and stuff like that. And then he gets them to playing basketball, and then he's bringing in basketball players that just want to come here now because they know the program's in the right direction.
How many times during halftime does he quote Rolling Stones songs?
Oh, a lot. He talks about those concerts all the time. I think he just went to the one in Chicago a couple weeks ago. He was just talking about it. In Vegas.
One of my best friends was there, too. I'm sure he was talking about it. Chris, let's get over to you. Well, you're going to one of my former enemies. I'm an Illinois State University graduate, and back in the days when they had the Gateway Football Conference, and it was all the Illinois Division 1AA schools in at Eastern, Western, Southern, and ISU. And so you're going to play baseball for Western Illinois University. How'd they find you? You visit them? How'd that work out?
Actually, my hitting coach, Kevin Sullivan, knew the head coach at the time, Mike Volano. He actually resigned as the coach, and he just hooked me up with him. I mean, that was the only Division I school that offered me a scholarship. So I visited the campus, and I was like, I really liked it. And they got a new coach, Ryan Brownlee, who's assistant at Iowa, who I actually he was contacting me back and forth when he was at Iowa, and we had a good relationship with each other, and just and then when I found out he got the head coaching job, I couldn't be any happier because he was a great guy when I talked to him, and he's just a great coach. He turned the program around this year, and actually they beat the number 1 ranked Arkansas opening week. So after I found that out, I'm like, we're going to do good things in the next 4 years.
So you're going to be a Western Illinois Leatherneck. Now tell me, what conference do they play in baseball? There's been so many changes in conference affiliations in this state over the years. Where are they?
Oh, the Summit.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Who's in there with them?
I know, like North Dakota, South Dakota.
All right.
Yeah.
So some of those, you might be taking some road trips to some colder areas there.
Exactly.
Do they go down south during March, or any road trips do they take?
Yeah, they went down to Arkansas. I know that.
Good.
For 2 weekends in a row. So.
Yeah. I mean, in the Midwest, you do one of two things. You go south when it's still cold, or you go up to that crazy routine at the Metrodome in Minnesota where they play 24 hours a day. But you got to get your games in somehow. Sounds like they've got a good routine there. So best of luck to all three of you on that. Let's go back to the week you won the state championship, and it all started with that Monday super sectional game against Chicago Harlan. And I got to tell you, that was a fantastic baseball game, a 5-3 game. Alex, what were you guys thinking going in? Because the general people that follow Joliet Catholic baseball and follow high school baseball were probably thinking, now wait a minute, you've got an established program against a team out of Chicago. You guys should be the favorite. You guys take the field. There's people all over the place. They take the field. They've got 12 players, 3 extra guys in the dugout. I heard the coach say they lost about 6 players at the start of the year, and they gave you one heck of a baseball game. As that game went on, what were you thinking?
Well, at the beginning of the game, you couldn't have said it better. We came in with our heads up, thinking that we're playing some Chicago Public League team, and we're Joliet Catholic Academy. We're one of the best. We're a dynasty in the area, and we came out there and we started. We tried to do our thing, and we took the infield. What takes like before the game, our warm ups is really sets the tone of the game, and you could intimidate the other team. They could see you at your weakest points, and they didn't show any emotion out there. And so that's when we first started to realize, oh well, we might have a game on our hands here. Then they took that, I think it was a 3-0 lead, and we kind of got in our heads like, oh, we got to do something about this, or else our state run might be over. So all the guys stepped up. We had a big inside the park home run. It was an interesting play right there, and that kind of I kind of took the lead, and it was a great game. It ended up being a really great game against a good team.
Yeah, Chris, what about you as one of the senior leaders? Alex saying the other guys didn't seem to look nervous, and I felt the same way. They were all business, and they were a fundamental team that had speed and fielded well and knew how to run. So when did you realize these guys can really play some baseball?
Yeah, like you said, in the first couple innings, I'm like, oh, we got this. I mean, we're Joliet Catholic, they're in Chicago, Harlan. You know, I've never heard of them, but I know they've heard of us. So when we went down 3-1, I was like, what is going on right now? Like, but in the back of my head, I'm like, there's no way I'm losing this game. There's no way we're gonna lose this game. And then when Johnny Klisick had a big, it was a weird in the park home run. And that just changed the momentum, and that was game over because they were never going to match our intensity because our dugout is unbelievable when everyone's shouting and screaming.
Yeah, there were a couple other moments that happened too, but Ryan, let's get your take on that. John Kalisik's frozen rope triple into the corner, and then he got to come home when the ball bounced past the plate and went into the dugout, so it ended up being an inside-the-park home run. But when John went up that time, did you have a hunch, hey, this might be it, he's going to do something?
Yeah, I did, and John was the previous games in the sectional. You know, he had 2 hits in one of them and a couple in the other one, I think. And I was really confident. I mean, you know, our motto goes along with, you know, count on me. So when he was up to batting, I was kind of thinking that, standing on first base. I'm like, you know, he can do it. He's going to get a hit. Sure enough, first pitch right down the left field line. And actually, I guess if I didn't run through a stop sign at third base, I wouldn't have scored. I guess John Kalisik wouldn't have scored either. So.
Well, let's talk about that, because the thing I kept saying was you guys won that game with back-to-back 2-out hits, and the first one was yours. You got an infield single, and when you hit that ball, did you think you were going to be safe? I mean, it was a straightforward infield single, but you might have been a little nervous when it came off the bat.
A little, yeah. When it came off the bat, I thought maybe we'd get up the middle, and then I saw him kind of like trying to start making a play on it, so I'm like, oh, I better start running. And then his feet kind of slipped underneath him, and I ended up beating it out. So I was like, all right, well, there's one, and then Kalissa came up and did what he did. It was awesome.
Now, the thing is, I didn't have a chance to watch what happened at third base because I'm watching the ball and I'm watching the relay throw coming in. I had no idea there was a stop sign at third base. Now, did it come too late? To be honest, what happened here?
Right when he hit it, I was so amped up. I'm like, oh, I'm scoring. I'm definitely getting to third. So I rounded second, and I saw him field it in the corner, and then he bobbled it. So I'm like, okay, here we go. I'm scoring. And I assumed that I was going to be scoring, and then I picked him up a little too late. And then when I was running by, I saw they had both hands up in the air. But at that point, it was a little too late. So then I saw the catcher move to the inside. So I moved to the inside, and the ball ended up hitting me in the back and rolling to the dugout.
Yeah.
And then John Kalisic fouled. So.
Yeah, just one of those, kind of like that bounce. The Yankees had a play like that in the World Series against the Mets a few years back. Just bounces into the dugout at the right time. You get the right bounce, and you had the lead. But it was not over. Because, Alex, let's talk about what happened next. First and second, or second and third, nobody out. Remember how crazy that was? They laid down a bunt. You all charged the bunt. Third base was left open, and the runner ran all the way to third because third base was unoccupied. Just very, very heads-up base running on their part. That's what impressed me about Heartland. They knew how to take the extra base. You got second and third, nobody out, and then it happened. All right, now who was playing center field for you at the time?
Nick D'Alessandro.
Nick D'Alessandro had started the game on the mound. He had been removed from pitching, but then he was placed by Coach Voss in center field, his normal position. He made the best high school throw I've seen in years. And when the ball left his hand, I wasn't ready to raise my voice for a dramatic play at the plate because I didn't know that ball was coming. And I all of a sudden realized this ball's coming in on the fly. And you tagged the guy out at the plate, and you had a double play that took you out of that no-out, 2 runners in scoring position situation. From that point on, you guys had to feel good. But did you think that throw had a chance?
Of course I did. I know Nick really well, and in practice we do that throw almost every day. And Nick's got one of the strongest arms out of a sophomore to be junior that I've ever seen in my life before. And so taking him out of the mound, he still had a lot of juice left in it because he was still throwing pretty hard when he was on the mound. Then he took him off, and I knew he still had an arm left. If he put him in center field, his arm wasn't dead. So that ball came to him, and I couldn't have wished for a better guy for it to come to because I knew he's a really, really accurate thrower and a great baseball player out there in center, very athletic. So the second he caught it, I knew the guy at third was dead if he was coming home. So he threw the ball, and we just made the routine play just like we do every day in practice.
All these years you've been catching, was that the most traumatic tag-out play you ever had at the plate? I mean, anything else that comes close to that?
There's nothing else that comes close to that, no. I tagged the kid, and I just remember just like a split-second moment of that, the kid in the air, and I tagged him in the face. I didn't really mean to, but it's just getting out of that inning was huge for us. That probably saved the state run right there.
Absolutely. Let's take another break. Well, Coach, I promise we're going to get you in here. These guys are doing so well. Let's talk about the championship game when we come back, which was the 5-0 win over Wheaton St. Francis. We are reviewing Joliet Catholic State baseball title with Alex Voitik, Ryan Peter, and Chris Tschida. We'll have more on Brando's Garage, brought to you by Turk Furniture. Remember, they help all kinds of...
Brought to you by
Brando's Garage, brought to you by Turk Furniture at 9:42. I'm Steve Brandy, having a ball here today, talking to Alex Voitik, Ryan Peter, and Chris Tschida, the three seniors that really led the way for the Joliet Catholic State Baseball Championship run this year. Hey, let's talk about the final two games at Silvercross Field. The Mount Vernon win, Alex, did you guys, the usual thing is take one game at a time, don't be thinking ahead. So the Friday win over Mount Vernon, how did that go for you guys? Early on, game kind of even, you guys gradually took the lead. Much nervousness during that game or what?
Actually, yes. I've made it a big deal about my senior year to not be nervous for any baseball games that I play in. So, the state run and the Bajeski tournament, trying to keep my composure, keep it cool, and I was doing a pretty good job so far until that game. When on the bus ride up there, I'm sitting next to my other catcher, my best friend, Cam Grubasich, and we're just sitting there and thinking, man, we're here. This is state. We haven't been here before, and we actually have a chance to win this thing. So I, got a little butterflies in my stomach, and but the most confident thing that we had going that day was our pitcher, Sam Couch, that threw that day. I'm always confident when he throws for us. I know we're going to pick up the win.
Yeah, he did. Sam Couch, very dominant on the mound that day. Ryan, you guys are the three seniors, but the sophomores that contributed to you guys, we talked about D'Alessandro and everything he did. Then you had Keegan Terrell in right field, but then Mitch Bowe comes up to the varsity, becomes the leadoff man, becomes the starting second baseman, and he had 3 base hits in that semifinal game against Mount Vernon, and it's like he's a sophomore. He goes into Silvercross Field, he delivers 3 hits, and that's why on the air I said Bo knows baseball, referencing that old Bo Jackson commercial from years ago that only Coach and I remember. But I tell you what, your young people came through real well.
Yeah, they sure did. So many young people step up and just make big-time plays in big-time situations like Mitch. I mean, semifinals, the state semis, and, he comes out and gets 3 hits. And I feel like when he leads off the game with a hit, that just gives us some momentum because then we can do whatever. I mean, our second hitter can bunt, and now we can get to Chris and Nick to drive him in. There's so many possibilities when he gets on. We really get the momentum going. And then Keegan out in right field, I think it was a Mount Vernon game. He had a huge catch with a runner, diving catch with a runner on second base. I think like that possibly saved a run in third or fourth inning. Then obviously Nick in center field, the other sophomore. Just unbelievable job, hitting, pitching, fielding. It's great.
Hey, Chris, what about you as the shortstop? When Mitch Bowe came up, had you played much with him before? I mean, you're the older guy, he's the younger guy, but you guys are on the Keystone combination. How quick did it work out for you?
Yeah, me and Mitch, I've never played with him before, but I mean, I think within the first couple games we turned like 3 double plays, and we had it rolling right away. And he's a true He's a true player, and he's just a little dirtbag, He just goes hard all the time.
Yeah, and he's got a couple more years as the leadoff hitter. All right, Alex, let's talk about the title game. Nick D'Alessandro on the mound. Now, early in the game, he did look a little amped up, but when he had those key moments, back-to-back innings, and the one I'll never forget is, second and third, 1 out, and he struck out back-to-back guys to end the inning, and you gave a fist pump after that last strikeout, and you seemed to think, I knew you could do it, man, we got him.
Yeah, all he needed to do that game was keep his composure and stay inside himself, and he was going to do great. He was made for that game. He was on our team just for that game, pitched that game for us. The only thing that we were worried about, or at least I was worried about, was him, getting a little cocky, throwing the ball a little too hard for himself. And but we calmed him down. Chris calmed him down in the infield. Petey, me, we all went and talked to him, and he got his nerves settled, and right even before the game, and he came out and threw an absolute gem.
And Ryan, let's talk about the situation. The game was tied at 0-0 for a long time, and you guys manufactured 5 runs. And again, John Kolisic had the big extra base hit, but you guys took advantage of a couple of infield hits, a couple mistakes, and you strung together a 5-run inning. I have to tell you, from the broadcast booth, that looked a little too easy. What was your feeling about those 5 runs and how you scored them that inning?
Yeah, early in the game, it was kind of back and forth, good defense, good pitching being played. So I had a feeling it was going to be a pretty low-scoring game, so we could have to get any runs we could take. And then the game really changed after that bunt. Nick kind of like inside pitch pulled back on the bunt and actually did bunt it, and then he spun, and the catcher missed a tag. And after he missed a tag, I was assuming he would throw him out at first base, but when that throw went wide and we got that run, I feel like that really changed the momentum of the game, definitely. And then the next play, the ground ball up the middle that Chris ended up scoring on, and then I sacrificed bunt, and then pass ball and Kolisic's big hit, and it just kept rolling and rolling and rolling. It was good.
Chris, there was some really good defense in that last game. I'm going blank. The young man that played center field while Nick was pitching, who was Zach Jakovich, made an incredible catch. He made a diving catch that cut them short one inning. I mean, you talk about pitching and defense winning championships. You guys proved it that day.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, that's what we strive on, is pitching and defense wins championships, and that's what it was the whole year. I don't think there was many games where we had multiple errors. Our defense this whole year was just outstanding and awesome.
Now, going into the last inning, I'm sure you knew that Alex Voitik had everything in command between himself and Nick D'Alessandro, but as a senior standing at shortstop, how'd you feel about Nick going into that last inning, sophomore on the mound, trying to nail down the state championship?
Yeah, I had all the confidence in the world in Nick because, I don't even look at him as a sophomore. He's like a younger brother to me, just because, our relationship with each other. And then, I'm getting goosebumps just thinking about it right now. Just when we got the first out, everyone's I look in the outfield, left fielder Aaron Markley, and he's already smiling. I'm like, hey, chill out. We still got 2 more outs to go. And we got the second out. I'm like, we still need to make one more play. And when that third out came, everyone just threw their gloves in the air and then just dogpiled on Nick D'Alessandro. It was awesome.
Yeah, absolutely. Ryan, I'm going to throw this question at you. You're going to be following this team next couple of years. You're not going that far. You'll be playing basketball at North Central, so I'm sure we'll see you in the stands. 3 great sophomores coming back. How good can this team be the next couple of years?
Yeah. I'll definitely be around next year to watch this team because I think, the possibilities are endless with this team. I mean, we got 3 starting sophomores. Our whole outfielders are underclassmen with Aaron in left field. And then Mitch back in the infield, and Rylan Bannon, who was injured, back in the infield. And the sophomore team had a real good year this year, so they're going to make some noise next year.
Now, Couch, how old was he?
He graduated.
Okay, so that's another senior that is moving on. But, where's he going, by the way? Is he going to play some ball?
He's going to Lewis University.
Oh, that's great. Okay, we got a local guy playing because, the Lewis baseball program and the Joliet Junior College baseball program, more and more, you see a lot of local guys playing there. That is fantastic to see. So glad to hear Sam's going to be pitching for the Lewis Flyers. And so I think all you guys are going to be in the stands at Silver Cross Field just watching next year. Is that the plan?
It sure is.
Yeah, I might ask one of you to join me in the broadcast booth. You never know. All right, we're going to take our final break, and then when we come back, I'm going to put Coach Jared Voss on the mic and talk to him a little bit about this. But Alex Voitik, Ryan Peter, Chris Tschida, congratulations to all of you. Good luck in college, and you did a fantastic job in here today. Thank you very much.
Thanks.
All right, we'll be back with Coach Voss wrapping up Brando's Garage, brought to you by Turk Furniture. And back live on Brando's Garage, 9:53. Steve Brandy here. Brando's Garage brought to you by Turk Furniture. 6 locations in Illinois, including the location by the Lewis Joliet Mall off Route 30 and I-55, and the brand new location in Naperville, kitty corner from the Fox Valley Mall. Jared Voss, the head coach of these JCA Hillmen, is here. Boy, I think you're going to miss these guys, all the leadership, and they talk a pretty good game, too.
No, absolutely. Like they mentioned, they were up as sophomores, so for the last 3 years, they've been an important part of things, important part of this program. So the leadership that these guys, again, they talked earlier about some of the difficulties and some of the ups and downs and peaks and valleys we experienced through the season, and through that entire time, it could have been real easy for guys to give up, but I knew I was able to lean on, especially these 3. To maintain that leadership role, pull us through some of those tough times.
Absolutely. And when Joe Rodriguero came aboard, that looked great for you because a lot of high school coaches might think, boy, I can't do this. Bring in a guy that won a state championship for this school 19 years ago. Are they going to listen to him or are they going to listen to me? You obviously weren't worried about that, and Coach Rodriguero obviously had a big impact on these guys.
Yeah, no, obviously. I mean, I'm always looking for ways to improve the program and make the program better, so to have Joe's expertise, as a part of the program is great, but again, across the board, guys like Tony Giese, Leo Mahalik, Jake Jaworski, Mike Maher, Mark Seifert, all these guys throughout the program, these coaches that are a part of it do a great job, and they all bring little pieces to maintain a big part of our overall success.
Absolutely. And, of course, let's talk about the play Ryan was talking about, the stop sign he supposedly ran through at Crestwood. And so you can see from his point of view, he's on first base, and there's this rocket into the left field corner. He's thinking, wow, I can score. And he sees the left fielder briefly bobble the ball. So be honest, did you put up the stop sign a little too late, or was he just not going to stop no matter what? I mean, what do you remember about that play?
No, these players are taught to not pick me up until after the bag is rounded. They're taught to be aggressive around the bag. So as a third base coach, my positioning on that play is to be, halfway between third base and home plate. Ryan's supposed to round the bag first at full speed and then pick me up after that. And my hands were up, and he just ran through it, and fortunately, it ended up working out and being a great play. I remember a few years ago, we won a regional championship, and Joe Benson had a take sign on a 3-0 pitch, and he swung through it and hit about 500 feet. And we ended up hitting 3 home runs, and then the bottom of the 7th, and walked off and won that game. And Joe started it going, and he completely did the opposite of what I wanted him to do. But hey, it's about these players. Ryan made a play. Bottom line, Ryan made a play. It doesn't matter. He made a play. He took it upon himself, and the little things that he talk about is finding out where the catcher's positioning and moving his baseline to where that catcher was, so the ball can deflect off him. Is just a great, great baseball player.
Let's hit with you what I was talking to Ryan about the future of this program. You just won a state championship, but you've got Nick D'Alessandro and Mitch Bowe and Keegan Terrell coming back for 2 more years. You've got your seniors coming back. I understand you got some guys that might play varsity as sophomores next year. You got to feel pretty good right now.
Sure. Just been real fortunate for a long time now, just to have different years of great players and to have that success. And it's just, just everybody, the program, it's about the program, everybody working hard, and selling the program out there and come be a part of something, great, like a state title, could be pretty neat.
A lot of people don't follow the summer high school baseball that closely. The ones that are really, really into baseball 365 days a year, they do. Our friends at Prep Baseball Report, Sean Duncan and the whole gang, they follow it. But what does happen right now? Your guys that are coming back last year or next year, the summer baseball, where are they going? How often are they playing? What's going on?
Different programs have different philosophies in regards to how they handle their summer baseball programs. A lot of our guys are traveling. They're gone a lot on the weekends, for us, we just, the guys that do show up, hopefully I have a lineup. It's the first thing. And that I have enough guys to throw. And then, just kind of go out there and be aggressive and let guys go out there and play and make mistakes and do a lot of teaching and working with them. And then when the summer state playoffs come, the second to last week of July, we ask everybody to be there, to be dialed in, locked in, and, let's take a shot at this thing, see if we can make a run.
Coach Rodriguero mentioned it last week. A lot of kids do have summer commitments in basketball and football, but if they communicate with you and say, Coach, I got to do this next week, the important thing seems to be keep them active, because as Joe told me, if you force somebody to only do one thing, they just might rebel and do the others instead, right?
Yeah, I don't know. It's but kids are definitely active. I'm very fortunate as we have a lot of competition within the program, like you talked about, within the ranks. So there's no need to force anybody to do anything. the guys that want to be there will be there and be a part of it. So
Absolutely, and JCA Athletics continues to roll, and AD Dan Sharp and the whole gang, and Coach, another state title. Congratulations to you, and hopefully we're having this talk a lot more over the next decade or so.
thank you.
All right, Jared Voss along with Alex Voitik, Ryan Peter, and Chris Tschida joining us today. Next week.